Hello Exile, and welcome to my full review of the Fairgraves mystery box. As a note, this video is much longer than my usual format. Utilize the timestamps in the description for ease of access to the various sections of this video. So we're going to do a little bit of a format change for this video. The all classes preview that's generally at the start is going to be at the end. That's just because there's so many armor sets that are in that part of the video that it would take way too long to put it at the start. And that way I can just put it at the end, put some music over it, and anybody who wants to see that, who came for that, I'll leave timestamps in the description. So you can just hop straight to that and get a look at how the armors look on various different classes. All in all, I think this was a pretty good mystery box. The reason why I specifically was so excited for this when it came out, I've always really enjoyed the Ghost Flame set and that theme in general. However, we haven't really gotten a lot of Ghost Flame MTX in a while. It felt like it was about time. And at this point, I feel like the Ghost Flame armor is really starting to show its age. Like it's already, I think it was released in like December of 2013. December 2015, and it has no physics. The character effect can't be separated from the body armor. The textures are very saturated. It's very bright. It came from a time before there was global illumination, so it had to compensate for that. All in all, it's old. So it's about time for a redo, which I feel is exactly, honestly, what the Corsair armor is. Very similar motifs to the Ghost Flame armor, albeit far less saturated and far less flashy. And I think it really benefits from that. I feel like the Corsair really takes what the Ghost Flame armor was and improves upon its concept by a lot. I also feel it's like the strongest set available from the mystery box in the store now. Now opposite the Corsair armor we have the Mystic set. Now the Mystic falls into a more kind of tribal shamanistic sort of vibe. I feel like this is the weaker of the two sets. I don't feel like Corsair really makes any mistakes whatsoever in its design. However, I feel the Shaman set, the body armor, could use a little bit more cloth detailing around the arms and the legs, specifically like the underside of the legs underneath the armor. To me, it just looks like embroidered glowing tights for some reason. I don't know. It's still an interesting set and it's still really cool. I just feel like the body armor itself lacks a little bit of something. And now for the heavy hitter. I feel like the Spectre set is exactly what you want to see out of a combined set in a mystery box. Like it keeps the motifs from both of its previous incarnations in its final design, but also introduces its own sort of identity. Spectre itself having what I think is one of the single best helms we've ever received in recent memory. It's one of the few helmets we've gotten so far that have physics on it, which I assume is going to become a more common feature as we go forward. But right now I think only 4 or 5 helmets have that. Now as far as back attachments go, this box actually has 7. There were 6 included with the original release of the box, and then 1 was released later before the box was made available, for a total of 7 in the theme. And honestly, most of them are pretty good. The only one that I think isn't too great is the Mystic Wings. And the reason for that being is these have a really... I think these needed more polys. And what I mean by that is they suffer from a lot of hard edges around the top and around the edges of the outside of most of their geometry that you can see most of the time. And they would have benefited from having just a few more rounded angles around there. Also, the physics on them isn't as great as we're used to seeing in recent wings. They're extremely rigid. The only part on them that actually does any sort of movement are the small little tentacles in the lower quadrant on to either the left or the right side of the wings. In addition to that, they also have a really reflective surface, so much so that any kind of like orange lighting will reflect as yellow on them, and you can kind of see that right now, like the sulfite light is making it yellow in some parts. So I'm not really too big a fan of these. As for the rest of them are pretty decent. The Spectre wings are really cool. The Spectre cloak is okay. I don't feel like this one's anything special. I feel like the Mystic cloak is a really strong one. I feel like this design is really cool. Really simple design, honestly, but really effective. The Dragonfly wings were the ones released outside of the box for the Mystic set. I feel like these should have been included with the box. These are far better designed than the Mystic wings that came with the box. I don't know if they just weren't ready in time or if these were just like a second design that got pushed out after the fact. Regardless, I don't know, I just feel like these are better in general. The Corsair cloak is a little basic. The thing that I like about this cloak, and basically all the cloaks that came after it, is they started, see if I can get the angle right here. They've started implementing a curved rest to the cloak. You can see here, like it stops, it doesn't fall straight down anymore. It falls slightly to the back. And what that does is it prevents it from clipping with most body armors in the game that have long robes or coats, so that you no longer get that issue where you're standing still and your coat is clipping through your cloak. Another thing to note is as far as helmets go, there was an additional helmet released when these came available in the store, and that is the Corsair helmet. It's kind of like a Spanish conquistador themed helmet. What's interesting about this one is it's actually in the original concept art for the mystery box. You can see there at the top right, they actually did 3 designs for the helmets. Only 2 of them made it in, and it was released afterwards. So lots of post-release support for this box, which I do appreciate. It's always nice to have more options. Now, as far as the peripherals go, I feel like both the Corsair and the Mystic character effect are good things to have lying around, just as good combo pieces. Both have an inherent glow that like colors the character. It doesn't actually texture the character like the Celestial or the Sin one would, but it does color the character in a certain way. And then it has little floating wispy particles that follow around the character. I wouldn't bother too much with the Spectre character effect. I feel like this one is just too flashy. It's just simply too much. It has a bit of overlap with the Corsair aura effect. Like if you use them both, you just get surrounded by a bunch of skulls. Which, I mean, if that's what you're going for, that's how you do it. Once you get to this point, this in my book is when a character has become too flashy. A little bit of flashy is okay, but just like there's a limit. Now, as far as the staffs go, I feel like the staffs are really cool. However, I think the downside to staffs is I don't really play staffs too much, and I think the current meta favors like plus level to gems bows used with like a signal fire. Like if you're gonna go like in like a fizz conversion spell and you're gonna use the conversion mechanics, I feel like you can squeeze more damage out of a bow than you can like a staff, and so I feel like staffs aren't really used too much in the end game. It's like these are really cool designs and they're nice to have around, but at the same time, I don't know. Like in the 5 months that I've had these lying around, I don't think I've used these once. If you play builds that use staffs, like if you know, you use like the, what's that one that summons the phantasms? Soul Rest. If you like play a Soul Rest, it's good to have, but at the same time, Soul Rest has like really good unique art too, so it's not like you really wanted to use an MTX on top of it. So I don't know. I can't really make a call on whether or not the staffs are worth. And the last thing I want to go over just a little bit before we head into like the combo section of the video is just aura effects. I stand by the fact that I feel like the Corsair effect is just simply far too flashy. I don't like the floating skulls. I really don't. We have so many effects like this already. Like we have the bone aura, and we have Spectre character effect, and we have the Ghost Flame aura, and we have the Council character effect. There's so many similar effects already in the game that I don't feel it's necessary, and I don't feel it does anything better than any of the others. However, the Mystic character effect has my heart. The only thing they could have improved on this is they could have made it have physics, like the little tentacles like wave around in the wind when you use like channeling skills and whatnot. But other than that, like this is a really good aura effect, I feel. I really like this one. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about combos. Now I feel like your best pieces, your pieces with the best combo potential are going to be like the Corsair armor, the Dragonfly wings, the Spectre wings, the Corsair's associated helmets, the Mystic hood. I don't feel like the Mystic helmet is any good. The Spectre helmet, the Mystic gloves and the Mystic boots, and their associated character effects, the Corsair effect and the Mystic effect. I feel like with those things, you can combo with pretty much anything using like the Corsair character effect and the Mystic character effect. Let me just run you through some like completed examples. So this is one using the Seeker body armor, Mystic gear in every other slot, and then just the Corsair helmet. This is a really simple look that just gets the best out of like the color palette of Mystic while still being really clean and smooth on the outside. I feel like there's no like flashy body armor or anything like that. It's just a really clean armor supported by the peripheral MTX. This is just an example of how you can use one piece plus like a character effect to flavor an already existing armor set. I use this for the end of my Elder armor video. It's just the Elder armor and wings plus the Spectre hood and the Corsair effect just to give it like an eerie green glow. This is one that looks like a hodgepodge on paper, but in reality actually works. We use the Madcap character effect to color the internal skeleton of the armor blue, full coverage gloves to cover up the rest of it on the arms, and then just Warlock helmet, pitch black bandana to cover up the top part of the skeleton, and oil-drenched wings to match the subtle red that's on it, and then just, you know, whatever boots you have that work. This is a really clean combo I used way back at the end of my Doomguard video. It's just the Spectre armor with the Doomguard helmet, gloves, and boots. And then we use the Sin Wings on the back. We don't even really need a character effect for this setup. It just looks clean as it is. Here's an interesting one that uses the red on the Corsair hood and back attachment to match the bottom red part of the Vanguard chest armor. And then we just use the pitch black bandana to cover up most of the skull, so not too much of it gets through. So yeah, that about does it for consideration of the Fairgraves mystery box. As far as what's next in MTX, we got a whole bunch of stuff added to the files. We got the Viper bow, which means we'll probably be getting this complete set pretty soon as everything's in the files now. We got art for the Dark Prism stuff. The Dark Prism stuff looks like it's whatever's left over from like the Crucible development cycle. It looks very similar. Like this cape looks like the concept art that was on the Crucible armor, and it looks like it follows the same motives. So there's also a pet that's coming with that. I have no idea when we're going to get that. We're going to be getting an Automaton Divine Ire, so red beams of death, and also we've got new files for a body armor set plus back attachment by the name of Extinction. No idea what that's going to be. And also Stygian Frostblades. So everybody who loves Frostblades, rejoice. You finally get your MTX. Not now, but soon. Hopefully soon. So yeah, guys, let me know what you thought of the video. Let me know if you enjoyed it. Also, go ahead and tell me if you like the new format. I think it's just going to be for like the longer form videos that we do this for. I probably won't do this too often, unless you guys really like this format. Then we'll change it, of course. And I'm gonna try and stop editing at 4 in the morning because I'm really tired at this point. So yeah, that about does it for me.